Hello and welcome to the Factor. Welcome to this introductory video into HTML. What is HTML? Being our first question, HTML is the backbone of website. It is what gives structure to our website because it's what creates every element. In some cases, though, when we say HTML is a blueprint, like the foundation of website, because everything that you do on a website is done on HTML. So it is very important because without HTML, website would just be plain text. For instance, this is a document that I've opened on a browser. This is actually a PDF document. As you can see, it's just plain text. So without HTML, our website might look much like documents like this or some design templates that do not have any form. So HTML is actually the backbone of every website. Every website that you see out there has some HTML, has HTML in it, not just some HTML in it. So let's look at this. This is actually a website. I will not say a website. This is something I've done just to demonstrate. This code here gives us this result. This is some HTML with already some CSS already in it. But let me disconnect CSS so that you see exactly what HTML gives us. So if I refresh that, this is HTML. So HTML gives us something like this that we can manipulate in order for our websites to look good. So as I said, it is a backbone of websites. So all of what you are seeing here at the right is the work of HTML. Let's forget about CSS for now. We are going to see CSS in the future. So how do you actually get some HTML into place? So let's go into Visual Studio. I have a new instance here. So you will create a project, or just now, if you don't have Visual Studio, I'll advise you download, install it, then inside your document, just create a folder. You drag and drop that folder, or you open that folder in Visual Studio, and you'll be here. So I click here on this first icon. That's how Visual Studio works. The first here you see say new file, new folder, and so on. So I'm creating a new file. How do you create an HTML file? What determines if a file is HTML is the extension. So I'm going to say index. I'll say index.html. This is what makes this file an HTML file. So we are looking into the structure of an HTML document. What is inside? In an HTML document, the first thing we have is the doc type. But in order to know, I will just skip that and take this HTML5. That's why I like Visual Studio. So I explain. First here, document type. This document type tells the browser that we are using HTML5. The browser knows how to interpret that because HTML is interpreted by the browsers, just as you have your videos being interpreted by media players. HTML is interpreted by browsers. So now we have HTML, doc type, HTML. The next thing that follows is still HTML again. This time around, it comes as the roof of the document because this is a document. What type of document it is? It is a HTML document. Now, this is the content of the document inside the HTML. So the first thing we have here, I can remove this. No, let me just say leave it there. This lang here stands for language, and the type of language we are using here, ENG, stands for EN, not ENG. EN here stands for English. After that, we have the head. The head in an HTML document gives instructions like this. All of these are basically instruction exclusive. This one, excluding this guy, which is actually the name of the tab. If you call on website, every time you see like here, it says responsive here, it is actually coming from a tab somewhere. So if our own, we are going to give a name to it. So this meta here is a form of instruction on how the document will behave. This here, it is meta chassis. It is used for interpreting how the document should be. Then in the body, it is where we have the content. So when you look at HTML, most HTML elements have what you call the opening and closing tab. And an element that has an opening and a closing tab, when I say HTML element, I just mean like this. Here we have HTML here. It opens here. So let me just cut this out. So all of these is an HTML element. It opens and it closes. Elements that opens and close have what we call the inner content. It can be the inner text or the inner HTML. So in this case, the HTML itself has an inner HTML. So the same thing with the head. It has a head, it opens and it closes. But when you look at the meta here just has an attribute. There's no opening and closing tab for this meta. It's just meta. You define what you want into it, you give the attribute. You see this is the same meta here, but this second meta has different attributes, so they have different responsibilities. These ones are called self-closing tag. We do not need to give a closing tag to it. Now in this case, title, it has an inner text, and this text here is what shows on the tab. So let's just save this. I'll go back to documents. Let me come to documents here. Oh, I'm instead going to down documents, teaching. I'll take Genesis, index.html. You have it here. That's it, document. So we have our first HTML document, but this document for now is empty, pretty much empty. So what I'll do here is I'll come and say the first thing that I'll put is a header on H1. We're going to see all of this when we'll be talking about HTML semantics, so don't bother. I'll just say hello. What did I type? Hello, welcome to my first HTML page. HTML page or document. Let me say document. HTML document. I'll remove page for now because we are calling it as a document. If I save that, I save and we open the browser and I refresh here, you see it. Hello, welcome to my first HTML document. So now we already have an HTML document with some content in it. So that's basically what HTML is. As I said in the earlier on, it is the backbone of website. You can't have a website without some HTML in it. It's quite impossible. So that's on H1. We have a paragraph which is represented by a P. I can say this document will display some HTML on the on a web page. So enjoy. Okay, if we save and refresh here, we will see a paragraph under. You see it is smaller than the H1. That's basically the job of HTML. Depending on the element you use or the tag, if I say element or tag, just know that I'm interchanging. Depending on the tag you use, the browser will understand that this HTML tag, this is the behavior it has, this is the behavior this should have, because as I said, HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language. In order to do that markup, each tag or element has its way and on how it behaves. So that was basically it on HTML introduction. In our next videos, we will talk more on it. We are going to see semantics and a lot more things that needs to be seen on HTML. Ciao, ciao, ciao. See you in the next video.